Hello, my name is Peter Brown. The article I found from The Athletic Business was about a 71-year-old man who used a permanent marker to draw pickleball lines on the gymnasium floor at a local Denver recreation center. And there's a few things to unpack from the article, so I'm going to dive into that. At Central Park Recreation Center, Arslan Gunny used a permanent marker to draw boxes and X's on the court to mark the improvised pickleball court. The rec center courts are usually lined with yellow cloth that are temporary and only in use while pickleball is being played. The local department estimated the damage to be roughly $10,000, and they stated that all vandalism, no matter the shape or size, is required to be reported to police, and they deem this vandalism. Following the incident, the perpetrator, Arslan Gunny, who is known by many in the recreation community as the mayor of pickleball, was initially banned from all Denver rec centers due to his actions. Parks and Rec spokeswoman Cynthia Karvosky said it's protocol to file a report, and she compared the incident if they walked into the city and county building, and drew on the floor, stating it's the same thing. Denver District Attorney Beth McCann stated her office has not charged Mr. Gunny with any criminal accounts regarding the pickleball incident with Denver Parks and Recreation. At her suggestion, she said the parties will attempt to resolve it through mediation with a city mediator. She's optimistic that by sitting down and mutually agreeing in the situation that the matter can be solved peacefully. The article closed with a quote from the Denver Parks and Recreation, where they stated pretty much that the district attorney has not yet charged Mr. Gunny, and that will allow both parties to move forward, complete the mediation. No further statements. They said no further statements will be provided, and that they are hopeful for a resolution. So, kind of in summing up the article, they didn't really come to a resolution yet. They just pretty much said that it's going to be dealt with by mediation. So kind of jumping into how it relates to course content, there's kind of numerous ways you can relate this back to course content. The first thing to discuss is obviously mediation. Through the course, I feel I've gained a good understanding of what mediation is. It's basically similar to a settlement, involves both parties to reach an outcome, all while avoiding litigation. With that, I want to discuss something we learned towards the beginning of the semester, and that would be brought up during the mediation process, that being the waiver. There are a few questions both sides may have regarding the waiver. What did the waiver include? Did it state no line shall be drawn on the court? What type of negligence was covered? Was Mr. Gunny informed that he shall not ever draw with permanent marker or draw any markings on the court? So pretty much there are a few things that could dictate the way this mediation goes. Pretty much if the waiver was lackluster and did not include these key components, Gunny's party could have an argument during the mediation. While what he did is vandalism no matter what, if he was not properly instructed on the consequences of his act, then it could have been avoided. The rec center in that case may be liable for not properly instructing Mr. Gunny on what is expected of him. In that case, the mediation would kind of be in the favor of Mr. Gunny. In the case that it was stated in the waiver and he read through it all and signed it and he was informed on all of this, then there's really no other way around it, that what he did is vandalism and he was already aware of the consequences, so there's really no way around the mediation. But in that case, I believe that he will be charged with the fines and the damage that he committed, but I believe that he will be allowed back at Denver Park and Rec Park and Rec buildings and allowed to play pickleball again, because there was no ill will in his actions. He wanted to draw pickleball lines and probably believed what he was doing was the right thing for the group at the time. Kind of the biggest lessons and takeaway from this would be that working in a recreation setting, or if you're a recreation participant, you have to really be aware and kind of foresee what is going to happen and possible outcomes. We discussed this earlier on in the semester, how rec centers, especially rec managers, they really have to find different and crazy things that may happen, because in a recreation setting, you never really know what will happen. And this is a perfect case that you really have to plan for the future and think of every possible outcome, because you truly never know what may happen in an average day in a recreation setting. And that was it for my presentation. Thank you guys for listening.